What if a simple act of kindness turned into a nightmare in the middle of nowhere? Mallory is just days away from her wedding, but her heart isn't fully in it. There's tension between her and her fiancé, and though she says she's happy, her smile fades quickly when her sister Ella calls, questioning if she's truly sure about the marriage. Mallory brushes it off, claiming she is, and continues her drive alone through a vast desert, heading to the city for final wedding preparations. To save time, she takes a shortcut through a quiet, empty road. The sun glares down, music plays, and for a moment, it feels peaceful. But then, the car suddenly dies. The engine won't start, and her phone has no signal. She's stranded. While sitting in frustration, her energy drink can explodes, staining her shirt. As she heads to the back of the car to change, a teenage boy appears out of nowhere. Startled, she grabs her things, but the boy introduces himself as Christian. His calm voice and polite demeanor ease her nerves. He offers to help and surprisingly manages to fix the car. Grateful, Mallory offers him money, but he refuses. As she starts to drive off, guilt hits her. He helped her, and now he's alone in the heat. Against her instincts, she offers him a lift. He accepts. At first, their conversation is casual. He's charming, maybe a little too forward, but nothing alarming. Mallory talks about her upcoming wedding, and Christian seems oddly intrigued. Then, things shift. He begins saying strange things, how fate brought them together, how maybe they were meant to meet. His comments get increasingly inappropriate. Mallory becomes uncomfortable and tells him to get out. But that's when he pulls a knife. With a chilling calm, he orders her to drive quietly. When she asks why, he responds coldly, "You should have left when I fixed your car." His obsession grows. He wants her to come with him to a house nearby and spend the night together. But Mallory isn't going down without a fight. She notices he isn't wearing a seatbelt. With a sharp turn ahead, she grips the wheel and drives straight off the road. The car crashes into a ditch. When she opens her eyes, Mallory is hanging upside down, her leg trapped in the wreck. Christian is thrown outside, unconscious. Desperate, she reaches for his knife nearby and hides it before he regains consciousness. When Christian comes to, he sees her stuck and mocks her. "If you can get out, do it yourself," he says with a grin and walks away, leaving her helpless and hanging upside down. Night falls. It's freezing, and she's alone in the dark wilderness. The cold bites at her skin. Wild animals roam nearby. She turns off the headlights to avoid attention, wraps herself in a cloth, and waits. Morning brings no help, just hunger, thirst, and the cruel return of Christian. He sits outside the car, eating and drinking in front of her, laughing. He offers food, but only if she answers deeply personal, humiliating questions. Starving, Mallory gives in, but he never meant to feed her. "You believe me?" he sneers. "Your luck's just that bad." Then, he mentions a distant cabin before disappearing again. As night falls a second time, she finds a lighter in the car. She burns papers and trash to keep warm. But the nightmare worsens. Rats emerge from the darkness. She kills one in panic. Then, in desperation, she cooks and eats it to survive. Broken, starving, freezing, and still trapped, Mallory somehow clings to life. Then, her phone rings. It's just out of reach, but she stretches, pushes past the pain, and manages to grab it. With trembling hands, she sends her location to her sister Ella before the battery dies. It's her only chance, her only hope. But as silence settles once again, Mallory is left alone with the cold, the pain, and the fear. Hours drag by, and then she hears footsteps. Slow, deliberate, and when she lifts her head, her heart sinks. Christian returns, smiling like nothing has happened. As he approaches, he speaks with calmness, bringing up the same cabin he mentioned before. This time, he says the family that lived there had returned, but that he'd locked them inside so they wouldn't come out and accidentally find her. And then he says something chilling. "But now you don't have to worry. I brought something to help you." Before he can explain further, her phone rings again. The sound slices through the tension like a blade. Christian's face darkens. He snatches the phone from her hands as she screams in desperation. This was her last chance. Without a word, he crushes the phone under his boot. Hope destroyed. Then he reaches into his bag. He calmly takes out a small blade and places it beside her. "I'm giving you this," he says. "Use it to cut your leg off. It's your last chance. Otherwise, you'll die here." Mallory breaks. She starts sobbing and pleading. Please, I can't do this. Help me out. I won't say anything about you. If you want me to stay with you, spend the night, whatever you want, I'll do it. But Christian doesn't care. He walks away, leaving the blade behind. Mallory picks it up, staring at the sharp edge, then at her mangled, trapped leg. She tries to slice into the area where it's stuck, but the pain and horror are too much. She can't do it. Crying, she throws the blade aside in despair. Night falls again. She's weak, freezing, and desperately thirsty. The river nearby is unreachable. But then, a miracle. Dark clouds gather, and soon, rain pours from the sky. Mallory opens her mouth and drinks, gulping the water down like it's saving her life. Because it is. For a few moments, she feels alive again. Turning on the car's radio, she hears a weather update. Heavy storms are flooding the main highways, and travelers are being rerouted through the back roads. That means someone might finally pass by. Her heart surges with hope. She begins screaming at the top of her lungs, begging for help. Then, a car approaches. It stops, but when the door opens, her heart sinks. It's Christian. She freezes. Her mind races. Then, in an instant, she hatches a desperate plan. She lies motionless in the car, pretending she has died, bled out from trying to cut her leg free. Christian walks over with a flashlight, checking if she's still alive. The moment he leans in, she strikes. She stabs at him with the hidden knife, and in the chaos, manages to grab his car keys. With trembling hands, she uses the remote to lock his car, activate the alarm, and toss the keys aside, making it look like he's now stuck too. Christian panics, running up to the road to silence the alarm and pretend his car broke down in the rain. And just then, a police car arrives. Christian quickly tries to charm the officer, claiming his car failed and asking for a ride to the cabin. But down in the ditch, Mallory sees the flashing red and blue lights. She starts banging a rock against the car, shouting for help. The officer hears something. He pauses and looks toward the noise, but the pounding rain makes it hard to pinpoint the source. Christian urges him to leave quickly, saying the storm is worsening. Reluctantly, the officer agrees. They drive off. Mallory screams again, but no one hears her now. Alone once more, the rain continues to pour, and the floodwaters begin to rise. Her car, already trapped in a ditch, starts to shift. The water is pushing it toward the river. In seconds, the car starts to fill up. Mallory realizes she has only one option left. She picks up the blade again. This time, she doesn't hesitate. She starts to cut. The pain is unbearable, but she knows it's her only chance. Just then, the floodwater crashes into the car with full force. The pressure and movement help sever her leg completely. Screaming through the pain, Mallory breaks free, fights her way out of the vehicle, and swims to shore through the muddy current. Exhausted, bleeding, and half-conscious, she crawls onto land. She finds a long branch to use as a crutch and begins dragging herself forward through the storm. She remembers Christian's words, the cabin. It must be close. She pushes on. After some time, she finally sees it. The cabin. But just as she nears it, she hears something terrifying. A girl crying for help. Mallory realizes Christian had been telling the truth. There was a family, and he's holding them captive. She approaches carefully, but the stick she's using gets caught in a bear trap. Luckily, it doesn't injure her. She presses forward, quietly peering through a window. Inside, she sees a girl tied up and screaming. Mallory doesn't act yet. Rescuing her now could alert Christian. She checks another room, and there, in a horrifying sight, she sees Christian beating the police officer who had driven him there. She moves further through the house and finds even more horror. The family Christian spoke of is dead. All except the girl. She spots the officer's gun and grabs it. Quietly, she returns to the girl, begins untying her, but then Christian's voice echoes through the cabin. He's wearing the officer's uniform. Mallory hides behind the door. Christian enters, and in a flash, she jumps out and aims the gun at him. But before she can fire, he lunges. A brutal fight begins. The girl joins in, attacking Christian to help Mallory. Mallory yells for her to run. She escapes, but Christian continues his pursuit. Mallory hides, but he finds her and begins strangling her. Gasping for breath, she stabs him with nearby debris, breaking free again. Christian, bloodied and enraged, stumbles outside to search for her. And that's when Mallory strikes. She sneaks up behind him and shoves him from the balcony. He falls. and his foot slams directly into the same bear trap that had nearly caught her. Now he's the one trapped. He screams in agony. Mallory comes down, bloodied and limping, the young girl beside her. She looks down at Christian, broken and helpless, and tosses his own knife to him. "Need help?" she asks coldly. "Just like you gave me a blade, I'm returning the favor. Cut your leg off. That's your only chance." Christian cries out, overwhelmed by the pain. He's powerless. Mallory leans in, her voice calm and final. "Maybe you were right. Maybe this was fate. And look at your luck now. Regrettable, isn't it?" She turns away, helping the girl walk beside her, and disappears into the storm.